Hello everyone and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Gambit, where I'm feeling much better. No more eyes watering in the middle of logic chess, which should hopefully make things a little bit easier. But here we are going toe-to-toe with Gavel.
Miss Ringer attended the auction as a potential buyer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale. So our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up onto the roof. After she'd emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view of the case.
I feel like there's a lot wrong there.
The raincoat was on offer that night. Is that really true?
We believe so, yes. You remember the failed assassination attempt on the president of Jingfa, I assume? The raincoat is a piece of evidence from that case. It should, of course, have remained safely under lock and key in the appropriate facility. But our inquiries revealed that it did, in fact, go missing under mysterious circumstances.
Wound up in the auction along with everything else. That makes sense, I suppose.
Wonderful work, Verity. Just wonderful. Crystal clear as ever.
You flatter me, sir. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you could save us all some time and simply admit defeat.
I'll do no such thing, thank you very much.
Very well. It's good to know that you still have some fight in you.
It is? Why? Come to think of it, she said some strange things when she visited me this morning, too. What exactly is she up to? Don't make me feel bad for her.
Hold it!
In other words, a member of the committee was actively involved in the illegal evidence trade.
It is unfortunate. I don't know what else to say.
And of course we'll be looking into any such activities just as soon as this hearing is over and done with.
I commend your decision to pursue the matter further, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, don't be silly, Verity. It's the least we can do, really. Not that it's any of your business, Miles. Not anymore. If only you had remained a prosecutor. But you didn't. Now, if we're quite done making an old man cry over this whole sad affair.
Very well. Allow me to continue.
Hold it!
So the red raincoat really was one of the auction lots.
That is correct. I believe it originally belonged to Mr. Shelley de Killer.
Considering his status as a piece of evidence, it's the only logical conclusion.
It's from when he made his attempt on the president's life.
Yep, sure is. There's an unexplained mannequin standing amongst the other items on sale. It could well have been used to display the coat prior to the auction.
Do we know how the items were being smuggled in?
That is still under investigation, and is entirely unrelated to the matter at hand.
I wouldn't say entirely.
Especially considering that you will soon officially be a prosecutor no longer, Mr. Edgeworth.
Sounds like the outcome of this hearing is a foregone conclusion. No surprise there.
My personal circumstances aren't important right now. Please continue, Your Honor.
As I was saying, the raincoat was one of the items up for sale.
Okay.
Why did she leave so soon after making her purchase?
Because of the auction house rules. Winning bidders are expected to pay for their items immediately.
Ms. Hart told us pretty much the same thing.
Miss Ringer, having paid for the raincoat, probably left immediately afterwards in accordance with the rules.
The hatch leading up to the roof. Is that true? What do I have on this? Listed auction held at a big building. Items on sale were mainly items of police evidence related to homicide cases. 11 attendees altogether. All were wearing masks. Auction continued even after the murder occurred. Okay. Ringleader's appearance. Ringleader wore a white jacket, white gloves, a magenta flower and mask. Age and gender could not be discerned. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. Yeah, I don't think we know much about that. Broken plushie, a stuffed animal originally found in Jingfa presidential plane, missing its left horn. Red raincoat were the victim, whose fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. Okay. Blood found in the committee chamber. Was it placed there to hide the existence of the storeroom? Box which killer hid the body, traces of blood and detected. Blood was detected on the secret elevator. It looks like it dripped through the floor below. Photo taken just after the incident by Lotta Hart, who'd snuck into the ringleader, and Auction Cheney came up the elevator. A scream was heard not long after. Oh.
Hold it!
Press that. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Miss Ringer was a member of the committee. Could she not have left the committee chamber via the main door?
While the auction was still underway, I would risk exposing its existence to those outside the trusted circle of attendees.
Also that, and then it would give away her identity. Given that Miss Hart found out about it, I think its existence is already well and exposed.
Rules of the auction stated that attendees were to enter and leave via the hatch on the roof. Miss Ringer had no reason not to follow those rules, and given where the murder took place, we know that she must have done so.
Wait, but... After she emerged onto the viewing platform... Oh, wait, this is the one. Hold on. Let's press this.
Hold it!
But why? What possible motive could Kay have had?
That is exactly what we were hoping to establish in our upcoming interviews with Miss Faraday.
The course of interrogation after the fact, something you seem to specialize in.
If the murderer knew that the attendees would all be leaving via the hatch, then the roof would have been the perfect place to lie in wait. So as I was saying, after she'd emerged onto the viewing platform, that's where Miss Ringer was attacked.
Nope. Oh, I wanted to add that. Let's conclude this community's view. Nope, hold on. Nope, she was attacked before based on that.
Maybe you can clear something up for me, Judge Gavel. But what is Miss Hart doing here at this hearing?
She's an eyewitness. I thought it would be obvious.
Well, now, I ain't really an eyewitness, more of a ear witness, I guess.
She's not exactly the most confidence-inspiring choice to help you make your case, is she?
I like to think I choose my allies a little more carefully than you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Then you should question them more thoroughly, because there's something she hasn't told you. Now take a look at this. It's a photo taken by Miss Hart.
Yes, in the storeroom, correct. What of it?
According to your theory, the murder occurred up on the roof. But according to Miss Hart's testimony, she happened to witness the entire incident in full in the storeroom. Just before she took this picture.
Wait, you're saying Gavel got it?
Wrong. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Whoa, what? Wait, what was that?
Miss Hart, if I may confirm your account of the events you witnessed that night. You saw the person in the picture, correct?
I sure did, clear as day, and with my own two eyes to boot.
What were your impressions at that point?
My impressions, this right here is the scoop of the century, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was hoping more for your impressions of the person in question.
Oh, that there's a walking meal ticket?
Seriously?
Just my little joke, no need to look at me like I done sat on your lunch. Oh, red raincoat, right? Why, I took one look and I thought, that's our perp right there.
Therein lies the rub. For Miss Hart to have thought such a thing means that the murder occurred.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, when you learn to use your words. If it's explanation of the facts you require, you need only ask, you know.
What do you mean? I assume you're about to...
Oh. Perfect.
I assume you're about to raise the issue of the voices Miss Hart heard. Voices that may be unrelated.
Unrelated, you can do better than that.
Was one of the voices Miss Hart heard really even Miss Ringer's? You're kidding me, right? Them folks was talking crime-related turkey, or my name ain't a lot of danged Hart. Ah, but did you hear them clearly? I can't really say for sure, but... Yeah, I can't really say nothing, you know it. They was using voice changers, I done told you all that. Precisely. Miss Hart heard voices, but those voices were disguised. Which means we cannot even be certain that whatever she did over here had anything to do with the murder. You don't need to yell objection in order to sigh at me, Mr.
I don't know why, something about that. I love that.
It seems I overestimated you, Judge Gavel.
Nonsense. Verity's the best of us, my boy. The very best.
Yet she believes that what Miss Hart heard might not have had anything to do with the murder. Even supposing that that's the case, it doesn't prove the murder didn't happen in the storeroom. The incident happened before the victim was able to get up to the roof. That much we can say for certain. And I can tell you why. This proves that the incident happened before the victim went up onto the roof.
What? The lack of the raincoat on the statue. Oh! Yep. Make sure we just get that nice and focused, and yeah! There's blood, dingbat.
We initially thought that the person in the red raincoat was the culprit.
Yes, because Miss Hart said as much.
Indeed, she told us about the blood she saw on this person's hand. I doubt many people would have thought differently given her testimony. Ergo, if this person is the killer, then the blood we see would be from when they attacked the victim. But knowing what we know now that this person is in fact the victim, it recontextualizes everything. The presence of blood still shows that the picture was taken after the attack. But now it tells us something very important about the victim, too. This picture tells us the victim
Survived the attack. Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that the victim was attacked in the storeroom. But here we have photographic evidence of her standing upright and alive, albeit with a bloody hand. This can only mean that Miss Ringer survived the attack. The blood on her hand is from the wounds she had sustained.
What are you talking about? Who dies from a hand wound?
The wound wasn't on her hand, Mr. Winner. I imagine she had used her hand to try and staunch the wound. That's right, while it's impossible to tell from this angle, the victim was already mortally wounded here.
Well, that certainly would change things, wouldn't it?
It very much would, not least by making it absurd to suggest that Kay was the attacker. Her encounter with the victim happened after this picture had been taken. After the victim had already been attacked and was in critical condition. I put it to you that Kay witnessed was the victim finally succumbing to her wounds.
That would have been quite the coincidence.
It's a textbook case of wrong place, wrong time, I'd say.
You seem to be forgetting a rather important fact, Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, that or pretending not to remember it.
What? What fact am I forgetting?
I think it's about time to wrap things up, don't you, Verity? Put the boy out of his misery. Dad, Gavel works for me. Why do you keep giving her orders? That's my job. You really are. Total and utter embarrassment. I'm not. I hate to break it to you, but you both are. Go to it, Gavel. Put Edgeworth out of
his misery. As you wish.
What now? What you're forgetting?
Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in her chest. We all know what those wounds are from, don't we? That's right. They're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum. I doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune.
Nicely done, Gavel. Now Edgeworth will have to...
Make several objections, yes, I'm afraid I will.
What? Why? Weren't you listening?
No, I was listening very carefully, in fact, hence my objections.
Come on! Why do you always have to undermine me?
That's never my intention, I assure you.
It isn't. Because you do it so well to yourself every single time already. Of course it isn't. Yeah, I knew that. Because I'm... Please, Eustace, just stop, for goodness sake. You've already embarrassed me enough. What do you mean, Dad? Okay.
Hold it!
The 3 wounds, that can't have been pleasant.
Yes. Which is why we must see that the perpetrator of this cruel act pays for their sins.
Don't listen to her, Kay. She's just trying to scare you. If we could please continue on, Judge Gavel.
Very well. As I was saying, there were 3 wounds.
Hold it!
Yeah.
I do, but perhaps you should ask Mr. Winner.
He does, I'm sure. Don't you, Eustace?
Who, me? Oh, you bet I do. I know this case inside and out. Who does he think he's fooling? Eustace, my boy. Make an old man happy and at least glance at the coroner's report, would you? Sure, let's see. Yada, 3 puncture wounds, blah, blah, candle holder. No way! That's what they used? Crazy!
Precisely. The 3 wounds were inflicted just as Eustace says.
Hold it!
You're sure the stabs to the chest were the cause of death? There's no doubt about that.
One of the spikes of the candelabrum even pierced the victim's heart. Unless you mean to call Dr. Hertz's professional opinion into question, we can only treat that as fact.
The coroner's opinion backing up my own winning ones? Now that's what I call a flawless victory.
Well, I'm certainly not about to ignore the coroner's findings.
Hey, what about my findings? You can't just ignore them. If the cause of death really was the puncture wounds to the chest from the candelabrum, then that would seem to contradict one of the pieces of evidence we've gathered. He's not just ignoring my findings, he's ignoring me. Do something, Gavel.
As you wish. At the very least, I'm sure that he can't ignore my own conclusions.
It's hard to argue with.
But the victim may not necessarily have died instantly. I think we can say that much at least.
Perhaps, but she would have surely not lived for longer than a few moments either.
So there are people who could survive even if you stab them in the chest? Sure, there might be, and there might not be too. So which is it?
Trust me, there are not. And in case you're still tempted to believe there might be.
Hold it!
The cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by the candle holder.
Done for reading, Mr. Edgeworth. The report forms the basis of my own conclusion.
In other words, if I disprove what it says, I disprove your conclusions too.
You have the strangest sense of humor, but I don't mind seeing you try. However, before you do, I would advise you to read that report very carefully. After all, I'm not interested in your opinions, only in solidly grounded deductions.
Very well, then you shall have my deductions.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Don't worry, Kay, everything will be alright.
I need to find something to prove that the victim was still alive and breathing immediately after the attack. If I can't, case fate will be sealed. Hold on. Not this one. What evidence do I have? Blood was detected in the secret elevator. It looks like it dripped through to the floor below. Closed box. Blood found in the committee chamber. Was it placed there to hide the existence of a storeroom? Oh, wait. Wouldn't it have pierced the raincoat? Is that where they're going? That may have been the murder weapon, judging by the wounds to the victim. Yeah, because it went through the white jacket. So it would have had to have gone through the red jacket, but it didn't. That's got to be what they're getting at.
Chairman Winner, you know what this is, of course.
The red raincoat. That's right, isn't it, Verity?
Yes, sir, the one Miss Ringer was wearing. I warn you, Mr. Edgeworth, you will not be thanked for retreading old ground here.
Well, I'm afraid I might have to, regardless. Now then, if you'll answer me this, Judge Gavel. You told us that the victim's bloodstains were found on the coat. But do you remember where exactly they were found?
Of course, they were found on the hood and...
What's the matter, Verity?
The hood and, was blood found anywhere else on the raincoat?
No, it was not.
Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds to the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in that area? Yet there was blood only on the hood. That's a glaring contradiction if I ever saw one.
Got her.
The head wound the victim suffered wasn't just some incidental injury. It was inflicted before the stab wounds to her chest.
Perhaps you're correct. Perhaps the victim did sustain the head injury first. As you said, if she had been stabbed first, there should be blood in the chest area of the raincoat.
Also stab wounds.
Therefore, Miss Ringer cannot have been stabbed before the head injury had been inflicted on her. But even if we can see this point, that the head injury came before the chest wound, what difference would that make? How does it change our understanding of the case?
I'd say it changes things a great deal. In fact, it raises an even more fundamental contradiction.
That's quite the bold claim, Mr. Edgeworth. I have to admit, you have me intrigued. Perhaps you could show us this fundamental contradiction? Some evidence.
Which piece of evidence best demonstrates the contradiction? The order of the injury is revealed.
Oh. Worn by the victim whose fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. So not that. Blood found in the committee chamber. Was it placed there to hide the existence of the storeroom? Closed box. Killer hit the body. Traces of blood were detected inside. Elevator blood. Blood was detected on the secret elevator. It looks like it dripped through to the floor below. Photographs of the mysterious figure in the red raincoat. Photo taken just after the incident by Lotta Hart, who had snuck into the storeroom. The ringleader and an auction attendee came up on the elevator. A scream was heard not long after. Selection of various masks was kept on a rack. Each participant in the auction wore one. Illicit auction held in big building. Items on sale were mainly items of police evidence related to homicide cases. 11 attendees gathered. All were wearing masks. Auction continued after the murder occurred. Okay, not helpful. Ringleader's appearance. The ringleader wore a white jacket, white gloves, and a magenta flower and a mask. Age and gender could not be discerned. 30, and then Rosie Ringer. Preliminary findings: place the time of death sometime late last night. Cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. Victim also suffered a head injury post. Got it. Okay. Woo.
Take that!
This is Dr. Hurt's preliminary findings, according to which the victim suffered a head injury post-mortem.
But the order suggested by the bloodstains on the raincoat is...
Exactly the opposite, yes.
Bailiff, this court hereby subpoenas Dr. Hilda Hertz to the committee chamber with all due haste, until she testifies this case cannot be brought to a close.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll go fetch her at once.
Unfortunately, Dr. Hertz is a very busy woman. I doubt she'll be able to come immediately. In the meantime, there's another important angle I would like to explore. Frankly, something has been bothering me about the person at the heart of this case, the so-called ringleader. Who exactly are they?
Yeah, good point. We never looked into that, huh?
Despite having been mentioned repeatedly in this hearing, we still don't know even the most basic facts that might help us uncover their identity. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
We've seen nothing that might serve as clear evidence of the auctioneer's identity as of yet, but there is someone involved in the case that I can name. I suspect at the very least they might be able to point us in the right direction.
That's...
Chairman Winner, I demand you testify as to what you know.
Well, what? Are you crazy? Why would you accuse my dad?
You would cast doubt on the integrity of the chairman of the committee. Do you understand the implications of such an act?
I don't care who or what he is. We're talking about the truth here. About a man who seems dead set on framing Kay at all costs. The mask, the corsage, the ticket stub, and everything else. The items Kay was carrying when she was found. They were deliberately placed in her possession somehow. By Chairman Winner himself.
Shocking accusation, and one I find hard to believe. But for the sake of completeness, I must ask, why would he do such a thing?
To cast suspicion on Kay, of course. Why else? I even managed to get him to say something to that effect.
Chairman Winner, your rebuttal, please.
I think the good chairman might be in shock.
So what if I did? Do you hear me, dear boy? I said, so what if I did? You say you got me to admit as much, but where's your proof, No witness to speak of, your word alone is hardly enough to make an accusation like that stick. Or do you mean to tell us that you have something more to base your outburst on? He still has the arrogance he showed back at the detention center, and yet...
Mr. Edgeworth, I am going to have to ask you to explain yourself. That's all right, Mr. Chairman.
Not at all. I'll be very interested to hear this for myself. I'm intrigued to learn where Miles might have gotten the idea I'm some sort of criminal, because you'll never find a more fine and upstanding citizen than myself. There's a lot of nerve acting all innocent like that.
Very well, let's start at the very beginning. The fact that the auction took place right here in this hollowed trial chamber is a point of suspicion. A location that should, by rights, only be accessible to members of the committee.
Yeah, they all have keycards of the room, after all.
Furthermore, these auctions seem to be held on a somewhat regular basis, and for that to be possible...
There can be only one running explanation.
That's right, Mr. Winner. The auctioneer is a member of the committee.
What? No! What on earth is wrong now? What do I do, Dad? I played right into his hands. No, you did indeed, you other nitwit. But Miles, my boy, you do realize that you've cast quite a wide net with your explanation.
It's true. There are 11 members of the committee altogether. 10, given Miss Ringer's unfortunate passing. 10 potential suspects in total.
Well, it certainly isn't me. And it can't be the chairman. Can it? Whoever to speak up right now. Calm down, all of you, please. All right, we'll dig more into the chairman in the next episode. All right, I feel like we're getting somewhere now. Hopefully we'll take him down soon. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.